Hey, it's Norm from Tested.
And Frank from Tested.
Frank, this is part 2 of our Stormtrooper armor build.
This is a lot.
That's right. Back at Comic-Con, we met up with Anovos, who has a series of officially licensed Stormtrooper armor, and they're now starting to sell them as kits.
Yes.
That you can assemble.
Yeah.
So in the first part of the series, we got a set of those kits in. This is the Black Hole Shadow Stormtrooper armor, the Shadow Troopers, and we showed you what you get out of the box.
Yeah.
Which is
bunch of untrimmed parts.
Untrimmed parts. Our prototype kits are actually made out of PVC,
yeah.
And the final kits are going to be made out of ABS.
Correct.
Which, for the most part, the way you trim them is very similar.
It's the same thing.
But the way you're going to put the pieces together are slightly different.
Just a different glue. That's it.
So let's start with a recap. The tools you use for trimming.
Yep. I have an air saw that I use. It's just it plugs into a shop compressor, and then this little thing goes up and down. And I have like a 32 tooth blade or 18 tooth blade, and you just kind of rough trim everything. On the inside of the parts, there's like a little bit of a scribe line that you can follow. And you just take this, and the better you get, the more you can really follow the line, but I would suggest giving yourself plenty of room. And then once you get that line trimmed, and then you can use this air grinder, and then just zip all that down to the line. You can also use a Dremel. Dremels have like cut-off wheels or things like that, and then Dremels also have sanding bits like this. I just like these air tools because they go a lot faster.
And while there is that guideline, what we do recommend is go to like the 501st website or the RPF and see where exactly people are cutting off the edges of each piece.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth to my computer like constantly while I've been trimming these things to figure out which parts have a little lip and which parts don't, and how far that lip gets trimmed back. And then some parts you don't want to trim back too far because that gives you your allowance if you're a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So like for me, my arms are probably going to be a little bit more, so I need to have extra room for when I assemble it, and yours can be trimmed probably closer to the line.
Awesome, a little short for a Stormtrooper. So let's do an inventory.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the chest plates.
Got the chest, which I've already put the little shoulder strap parts on. So that goes there.
All right.
And then this is the torso.
Torso.
Which is attached to the like cod piece part. But what you're going to want to do is trim this and then fix it together with some straps in the back
so that you can
actually sit. And then this also, inside of here, there's these 2 little button panels that aren't on the original vacuum form. So those need to be cut out and glued on.
All right. So then you have your butt piece, your thigh pieces.
This is your lower back.
Lower back.
This is the back piece.
Got it. Legs.
These are thighs. Shins.
Okay.
That's the little part. It's the sniper guard, I think it's called. It's like a little knee plate.
Okay.
Those are upper arms. There's your belts. There's the ammo pouch for the other knee. There's your O2 canisters.
Back.
Lower arms. These are the parts for the O2 canisters. These are the little things that dangle off of the belt.
Yep.
This right here is a cover for pop rivets that goes on the belt, and that comes in this piece right here. So you trim out these 3 individual parts.
Got it.
Out of that one. There's the back of the hands, the shoulder bells, and then there's a ton of little strips.
Strips and Velcro.
These strips are used to join the legs and arms parts together, and then all the Velcro and elastics kind of put it all together.
It's the hardware. It's what's going to actually put it all together, and that's what today's video is going to be about, the assembly.
Yep.
As we get through the assembly, we'll be able to find like little fits and finishes, what needs to be trimmed, and put those strips to join, for example, those seams, and then put the Velcro straps in the back, and hopefully by the end of this video, have something you can put on.
A couple of parts, yeah. I've started putting together some of mine, so that way I can show you how to do some of yours, and we'll just keep plowing through it.
Awesome. It's going to be a fun day. Let's get right to it. Okay, Frank, in putting some of these pieces together, where do we start?
Well, I started up at the top.
Yes.
And we'll work our way down. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is to grind down the little lips on these things, and we're going to put these shoulder straps on. I'll show you how to glue it, how to trim it, how to line it up the right way, which is the front and back of everything. And so there's a little bit of a, we rough trim this with the saw, so now we want to just grind down this little bit of a lip and get these ready to put these straps on.
All right, and that's just glue. So
Yeah.
Part of the assembly will be gluing the plastic together. With the PVC, we're using just a PVC cement.
Yeah, these are PVC, so we use PVC cement, which is just from like Home Depot or whatever. When the ABS parts, which the final ones will be ABS, there's an ABS cement also, which I'm pretty sure you can get at Home Depot or plastic supply places. Like here in Los Angeles, there's Gavarelli Plastics or Plastic Depot, and up in like Washington in the Bay Area, there's Tap Plastics. And so there's a bunch of places that you could just Google search and find a place that has ABS cement.
All right, and while I prep that piece, what will you be working on?
I'm going to start working on the arms, the upper arms, the biceps, and the lower arms. So I'm going to figure out the fit for that, and then how to do the joint to put the two parts together.
Right, and put that strip of plastic in between them to hide that seam.
A lot of it is just kind of fiddling to see how tight it's going to be and to make sure that it fits you properly, because once you grind stuff down, it's kind of hard to refit it and add more. So I'm going to kind of figure out how all that goes together.
Okay, I'm going to start grinding.
Cool. So when you get these things, there's 4 arm parts. There's inside and outside, and then there's left and right. So you have to figure out which ones match up. You do that by figuring out the curve. Like the short side has a different curve than the long side, and so I've already matched these all up. So that's kind of how you have to.
A lot of them look similar.
I am sure that when Anovos has their final instructions, everything will be like easy to spell out. But right now, we're kind of reverse engineering, kind of figuring it all out, based on all the stuff that we're finding on the internet.
Okay, so I think I have this chest plate matched up to yours.
Okay.
Got that edge tapered. Now let's take these straps and take a look at it.
So the straps have 2 different sides. The side that goes to the front has a large block on it, and the side that's away has like a tapered block.
Okay.
So on the 5th notch, kind of hits the end of this.
Yes.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 right here. We'll put a piece of tape on that so you know that that's where the end of the thing needs to hit. So we'll take this, we'll peel back a little bit of the plastic.
So shiny.
Yeah. And then we'll glue it and clamp it right there.
All right, Frank, let's take a look at your arm pieces.
So what I did is I took these on the belt sander and carefully sanded them on the long part of the belt to make it straight. So that way when they go together, they're real nice and parallel. And then you can see how they line up really good.
Really nice.
So what I want to do is I want to take the thinner size of the 2 strips that we have. The thicker ones are for the legs. The thinner ones are for the arms. And I'm going to glue the first strip about halfway onto one of the sides. When you do these arms, there's some websites that say that they overlap, but that's not the right way. It butt fits like this, and then there's a strip that goes on top of both of them.
They just go right like that.
Yep.
And then the strip is the seam.
So we want to only glue half of the strip onto here. That way I can get it aligned the right way. So
And your strips are also cut to size so they fit exactly the top and bottom.
Yeah, the strips are a little long. I just kind of snipped it down so that way it's the right length to go right in here.
Okay.
And I know that on the wrist side of this one, I'm going to be grinding this flush, where on the other side it's got a little bit of a lip.
Right. So it pops up a little bit off your elbow, but it sits closer to your wrist.
Yeah, and knowing which parts get ground down all the way and which ones have lips and how much, like you kind of need to pay attention to like the fit and finish of all these things. So knowing that, I'm going to put this band right up to the edge here, and it lines up right there with the edge there. So I'm using this little piece of paper towel just to keep these clamps from scratching.
Yeah.
I don't want to scratch the stuff. One of the things when you're building these things, you're going to need other tools. You're going to need things to help put it together. Things like clamps, things like your glue. Having tools that are kind of normal in a little workshop environment, like a sander or grinders and stuff. If you don't have a belt sander, you could take a piece of sandpaper and spray glue it to a piece of wood. So then now you have a piece of wood with sandpaper on it, and then you just, that's how you can get something flat. It takes a little bit longer, but if you can't afford to have a tool or you don't have somebody that has a belt sander, it's a quick way to, kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, having the equipment just saves you time.
Yeah, that's really all the equipment does.
Okay, Frank. So we've done some gluing.
Yep, glued some closures together.
Yep, but what other ways are to attach these pieces? What do you need to do?
There's Velcros and snaps, so let's get into some Velcros.
Sweet.
One of the easiest ones to start off with is the little pieces that go on the back of the hands.
Hand guards.
Yeah. So what it is there's a piece of elastic with the rough side of a Velcro stitched to it, and when it goes on your hand, it goes this way so that the square will attach to the back side of this.
Okay.
So we got a pair of the gloves. You bought these. Where did you
So
find
these are just, you can get them on Amazon, just they're tactical Nomex gloves, Batman stuff. Then you put the strap on.
And the strap will go there.
And then the plate goes on.
And that goes there. So that's
great.
Where that will go. So we want to cut a piece of Velcro on there.
The other side of the Velcro.
So the soft side of the Velcro we got in this roll, and it's got sticky on one side. So you take a piece of this Velcro, you attach it to the soft. So you have the hard and the soft put together, and then you have sticky right here.
Right, and you put the glove back on.
So then we put the glove on.
I see where you're going at, because you don't want to put it right directly on here first.
Because it might not line up.
That's right.
Yeah. So take that.
All right. You know that's the right side, the correct side.
So you line this up so that it's about as square as you can get. And then this little point here goes to your thumb. So then just put it right in there. And then push it. And then that's it. There you go.
Wow.
And then now you know that it's on in the right spot.
Push it in.
Yeah.
Make sure that's fully adhered. And that's great because you can actually detach the Velcro if you need to.
Yeah.
But that basically stays on there.
Yeah. There's no reason to take it off that I can imagine. And then once you take your clear plastic stuff off.
So satisfying.
So that's what it looks like.
Wow. Nice.
And if for some reason this is not shiny anymore, I picked up its scratch removers and a clean and shine. So if you happen to scuff it or over wear and tear, it loses its shine. You could, buff out the scratches with this stuff, or just kind of give it a clean up with the clean and shine stuff.
Okay, let's Velcro more pieces together.
Cool. So the next thing that we've figured out how it goes together is this T part goes between your front and your back, and then this drops down and connects to a shoulder belt.
Okay.
So we'll do it the same way. We'll cut a piece of Velcro and attach it to all of those things. And then this is where it kind of helps to have somebody give you a hand.
Right.
So we'll fit the piece on you, and then I'll figure out where these things sit so that the shoulder bell comes straight down your shoulder.
And it's not dangling too far down or too short.
You don't want it too far down, and you don't want this too far to the front or the back or anything. So it kind of helps to have somebody give you a hand.
Okay. This is that chest piece we did earlier.
Yep. Now we haven't finished trimming the neck on this, but it's fine for just Velcro placement. So that goes on there.
Okay.
And then this guy goes underneath these little flaps.
Okay.
So what we'll do, get this under there. This part, which has two tabs on it, this is going to go inside of your arm.
Yep.
So inside of the bell, this is kind of how it looks.
Okay.
So we'll put this, since we already have that whole shoulder belt on, we'll go ahead and run this one too. Put that.
Yeah, freedom of movement.
Yeah, and the parts still need to be trimmed up a little bit here and there, but that's how that goes.
Ooh, it's not bad.
Yeah, so just kind of test fit.
Yeah, it is a little bit of trimming you said left to do. So you got direct gluing.
Yeah.
We have bonding with intermediate strap, Velcro straps. What else?
We've got to do some rivets.
All right, let's take a look at the rivet pieces.
Cool.
Oh, snaps.
Snap time.
Yeah.
There's 3 snaps in the crotch. There's 2 in the back and 1 in the front. So we'll use these snaps that we found and this elastic that has enough space for 1 snap sewed right here and 2 snaps right there to join it all together.
Yeah, and the pieces all come with the kit. It's just that it's not exactly logical where you're going to use Velcro, where you can use snaps.
There's a million ways to adhere all of this stuff. And if you start looking through all the websites and all the 501st stuff, people use snaps and Velcro interchangeably, and sometimes there's buckles, and there's all kinds of ways to do this stuff. And it'll all be in the directions when Anovos has those done, but this is still so early. So anyways, so on the back, we know that there's gonna be 2 rivets, or 2 snaps. So we want those to be right in the center. So I'll draw a little guideline there. And then to put these snaps on, I know that this tool is what you use to crimp the snaps. It's got a little pointy side on one side and a little rubber side on the other so that it grabs it. My furthest in snap needs to be able to be reached by the tool.
Right there. So you can make a mark.
Yeah, so I could take this and use the farthest one in, kind of give it a little, there we go, there's my first mark.
Great.
And this one will be about right there. So this hole will be about right there.
There are your positions of your 2 butt piece snaps.
Yeah, and then I want to transfer those marks onto this, so that way everything lines up correctly.
Yeah.
So this one will go right there. The one already has a little divot in it from the tool. The next one, I'm just going to use this center punch. And this just keeps my drill bit from walking around and scratching up the plastic. That.
And then you can peel that plastic back.
Peel it back.
Good looking holes.
Yep. Good. Then we'll put this one in here.
Okay. And get
do the
inner
furthest
piece
one back, and that's this, right?
Yep.
That goes in there.
Crimp. And you
Just
have
like that.
one of your male side snaps.
There's that. And then we'll take the other one. There we go.
Bam.
2 snaps.
That looks good.
So we'll do the same thing.
Yep, same
sort
thing.
of on the front.
And all you need is 1.
Yeah.
On that side.
And then let's give this a little mark.
And that means this elastic strap is going to leave a gap between that front and back piece. They don't directly connect.
No.
And this can stretch a little bit.
Yeah, and if you need more room, then maybe you have to find another piece of elastic and sew it bigger.
Yep.
But this is kind of a one size fits most.
Yeah.
As far as the plastic and the armor and everything. So sometimes you might need to give it some more room. Or if you're a skinny guy like you might need to make it a little tighter.
All right.
So that mark. That. Pull back the plastic.
Crimp that together.
There you go.
And there go 3 outer shell snaps.
Yeah.
1 on the cod piece, 2 on the butt piece. Now, to actually get them to connect, you also need to attach them to the elastic.
Yeah, we need to do it onto here. So to put the hole in these Velcros, I know that you can use a soldering iron to cauterize these holes. That way, if you're trying to cut a hole or use a hole puncher, it doesn't fray and get all messy. So just get a little soldering iron.
Oh, nice.
And then that's it. And then that way you have cauterized little holes, and it makes it a little bit cleaner of an assembly.
Careful with that.
So then you can take these, get them in through that hole.
Okay.
Like this. And then there's, on this plier, there's 2 different things. This is for that clean button. This is for the other kind. The
Other side, yep.
Yeah, the other side. Get this in here. Align that little notch up. Just like that.
Squeeze tight.
Squeeze, and there you go. So now that's
There you go.
on there.
It's really interesting because these functionally could have been Velcro straps, but they're snaps because that's what they used in the original production. And for people in the 501st and suit builders and prop builders, they want to simulate what the costumers built and what the actors had to wear in A New Hope.
Well, it's partially simulating it accurately, but it's most important the things that are seen. Things like snap heads and stuff like that. Like those little kind of rivets and things, those have to be correct. It's the understructure that can be a little bit different. So like I've seen on some of the websites, people have almost suspenders to hold the chest pieces on. So, you know, if it's underneath, like whatever makes it fit and feel comfortable. And if you need to sew Velcro onto your spandex suit so that things don't move around, do it. Like modify these things as much as you can, but you know, follow the guidelines that everybody gives. And you could make a set of, you know, approved armor, you know, by 501st standards. Right. And I think the 501st has pretty much like the best reference and the best standards to make it as screen accurate as possible. Because that's their whole goal.
That's it.
So anybody in the 501st, if you want me to join, I'm figuring out how to do this.
Working on it right now.
Cool. So now that these are all put together,
yep.
Put that there.
Snap in there.
And this one gets snapped
to the other two.
In there. Just like that.
And there you have.
Now you have your armor.
Aha.
Your crotch armor.
Nice.
So this piece still needs to get trimmed in half.
Yeah.
And that's so that you could sit down and you can move. I'm not sure which pieces will join those in here. And then there's also another rivet that goes in here that holds the belt in place. There's a bunch of these pieces that we still need to sort out which ones go where. And Anovos is trying to get us all of this information. And so maybe next video we'll get that part.
That's right. But we've laid out these techniques, the basic techniques, gluing the armor together, lining the seams with the PVC or ABS lining, using the snaps. It's all those similar techniques, and things to look out for, where the returns are, you know, the fitting, making it work for you. These are basic principles that you can use for building any type of Stormtrooper armor.
Well, I think that this is a great exercise in just seeing what the internet has out there. There's so much information. There's a website called thewhitearmor.net, which has tons of message boards and forums about how they build their suits and all the little modifications and putting fans in the helmets and, you know, things to make it more comfortable, how to do the voice box things, the electronics. When you're in the 501st, you get what's called a TK number. And there's a couple of guys on there. TK1336 has a website that has a bunch of how-to stuff. And then there's on YouTube, Trooper Bay, which is TK4510. And he's got a YouTube channel that shows all of these things. So there's a lot of guys that are sharing all of their information, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and the thing we want to get across is, you know, we've laid out these techniques, the way to glue the pieces together, the way to use the Velcro straps, to put the PVC or ABS, you know, to cover the seams up. It's not really that difficult. All you have to do is do the research, you know, follow these best practices, and if you take your time, you can build your own Stormtrooper armor. We're still working on it, and when we come back for part 3, we'll have something not only to wear, but something to customize as well.
Yeah, we'll get into weathering and painting yours.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Frank.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for watching. Thank Anovos for supplying us with this prototype kit.
This is a fun project.
It is. And it's a lot of work, but it'll pay off in the end. Stick with us, and we'll be back with more on Tested.com. Until then, that's Frank Ippolito, Norm. We'll see you next time. Bye. Surprise! Bonus epilogue to our video. Frank and I are actually at Dragon Con, and the reason we're doing this is because, Frank, you hustled.
I pushed through last week, and I got the whole suit done.
So we couldn't let this video finish without showing you what the completed Stormtrooper armor looks like.
Shadowtrooper.
Shadowtrooper, the dark Stormtrooper. Let's take a look at the pieces, the finished pieces.
So we got the back and the front are all kind of put together. The legs are over there, arms are over here. Got the O2 canister. It's all put together. A lot of these parts, they just kind of hang together in one, so it's easy to kind of move around.
And they go together in those same techniques that we showed you earlier in the video, using the Velcro straps, for example.
It's Velcro with the elastics. This is like one of the snaps.
Yep, the rivet snaps.
That goes in there. And then there's also these split rivets that are here. Those are on the front and back.
Oh, so you even have the belt.
The belt is here. Belt's done. Belt also snaps onto the torso. And then I split this one so that it moves.
So you can sit down.
So you can sit down.
Awesome. What was the most difficult part? Because, you know, as we started, we were still trying to figure out how some of these pieces came together. But I imagine some of the mirrored images. Finish one shoulder, other shoulder should be easy. Finish one calf, the other calf should be relatively straightforward.
The biggest learning curve was my legs, actually. We trimmed back too much, and so my legs didn't quite fit in the thighs. But these kits, they're built with all kinds of extra room, so we just probably shouldn't have trimmed all that room out. But I figured a workaround on the thighs for mine, so I can fit in.
So because these are kits that are one size fit most,
Yeah.
you know, one of the most important things as you're trimming, start putting them together.
Yeah.
Really lay it out and figure out how the two halves come together. And
Yep.
it's difficult when you get the kit to figure out, because some parts look very similar, just to give how much room you need.
Yeah, but once I figured it out, like everything fits really great. And getting things adjusted right so that you don't get armor pinches, like the back of the knees is a spot where you have to grind out a little bit more, and the elbows and the bicep needs to get fit a certain way. But other than that, it's great.
Well, you're going to put it on. We're
Yep.
definitely going to hit the Dragon Con floor. And then part 3 of the video is going to be going to Kamikaze. We're going to finish my armor.
Yep.
And we're going to weather it. We're going to make it interesting,
Yep.
customize it, make it our own, because that's what kits are for.
Yeah.
But before we leave, you guys, you get to pull off the plastic.
Ooh, yeah. Here,
Yeah.
you can do this one.
Oh my God. This is the whole reason to do this.
It's like
The middle of the
Christmas.
kit. Ready? Oh. So nice. So nice. Now, Anovos, of course, selling these kits. They have the regular Stormtrooper. This was a Comic-Con exclusive. I bet they're going to do all sorts of armor in the future. Helmets, kits. We still have to do the helmet for this.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. And
It's awesome. I mean, if you kind of keep a good steady pace, you could probably build this in about 2 weekends.
okay.
I know that I trimmed all the parts in about an afternoon, but some people are faster or slower with that. It's like a 2-weekend job, really.
It's a great project, and the price really can't be beat if you're just building Stormtrooper armor as opposed to getting a completed
if
set.
you get in on their early prices, it's almost stupid not to buy it.
Yeah.
I ordered the white Stormtrooper before, like as soon as I saw it, I was just clicking all over on it. So
Well, now you have experience with the Shadow Trooper. Thanks a lot, Frank. Let's get you in the armor, and we will see you guys next time.